I'm going to be installing a fold-down clothesline. Fold-down clotheslines are a great idea because they can be tucked away, giving you the space of a small backyard. They can be fitted anywhere, but preferably in the sun where the clothes can dry. However, it's always a good idea to install them away from obstructions such as heating units and cooling units. The tools I'm going to be using are a hammer, my safety equipment consisting of gloves, earmuffs, a face mask and some safety goggles, a drill, the clothesline itself along with its components, a tape measure, a shifter, a screwdriver, a knife, a pencil and some dynabolts. The first step in installing this clothesline will be to measure on the wall where I'm going to be mounting it. A standard height for mounting the clothesline is about 1.7 metres, however you can do it to suit your height. I'm now going to measure 1.7 metres from the ground and put my mark on the wall. Now that I have my 1.7 metre mark, I'm now going to hold up the clothesline and draw my guidelines where I'm going to be drilling. Now it's time to measure across 2.2 metres. If you don't have a mate to help you out, it's always good to do it in metre-long increments so that you can measure across. The next step to install our clothesline is to make sure our line is nice and level so the clothesline sits straight. So for that, I'm going to be using this level, putting it on my existing line and measuring it all the way across the end. I'm now ready to start drilling my holes to be able to mount my clothesline to the wall. As I'm drilling into brick, I'm going to be using a masonry drill bit to be able to get through it. And I've also got all my safety gear with my face mask, safety goggles and earmuffs to ensure I don't get hurt during the process. Just a quick tip when drilling into the brick, I've put a piece of tape around the drill bit so I know how far to drill. So what I did was I simply put the dynabolt on my drill bit and then tape the rest to know that I'm going in deep enough. The next step in the process to installing this clothesline is to attach the bracket to the wall. I have my hammer, my dynabolts, my ratchet and my socket. To do it, I'm going to be holding this up to the pre-existing holes, putting the dynabolts in the holes, hammering them in and then securing them with the socket. I'm now going to move to the other side and repeat the same process. The next step in the process to installing this clothesline is to now fit the crossbar. To begin this process, we simply put the plastic corner in the bracket first. We're now going to loosely secure the metal bracket, and to do so we're going to need the nuts and the bolts provided. First of all, we simply thread the bolt through here and put it through the first hole and just put the nut on enough so it hangs in place. We're now going to repeat on the other side. Now that the two ends are loosely fitted, we're going to secure the crossbar. We're going to put it into place first and then we're going to be using the shifter and we're going to secure it tightly so it stays in position. Now that this process is complete, we will now repeat the same steps to the large bar. Now on to the final step of the installation for the clothesline. The final step involves us threading the line through the frame. We're going to start by starting at the right hand side at the back of the little one. Now to do this, we simply thread it through the first hole and tie the knot specified in the instruction manual. Now that I've tied my knot, I'm going to thread it back and forth until I get to the very end. So I'll weave it through the bracket as per instructions, cut a bit, allowing me to tie it off. Just ensure you have nice tension before you tie it off. Now that I've completed the smaller frame, it's now time to move on to the larger one and weave that, repeating the same process as we did before and using the same knot as we did in the instructions. Now that I've finished weaving the last piece of clothesline, I've now tied it off and ready to cut it. And I'm ensuring that I leave about 100 mil just so that later on you can tension it. And that's how you install a fold down clothesline.